Well, getting back to that story we had earlier, breaking news story of another deadly shooting incident in KwaZulu-Natal. Now, police have shot and killed 5 suspects at Bester in Inanda, north of Durban. The incident comes after another one in which police shot dead the suspects at Amawoti, which is also in Inanda yesterday.
It was still dark when the first shots rang out. Not the kind of sound that makes people jump, but the kind that makes a whole community freeze. In Inanda, gunfire doesn't mean surprise, it means confirmation. Confirmation that someone has been found. Confirmation that someone didn't make it out alive. Confirmation that another name will be whispered instead of spoken aloud. By sunrise, 5 men were dead. Police said it was a shootout. Residents said it was inevitable. And somewhere between the official statements and the silent streets, the truth lay scattered, like spent cartridges on dusty ground. This wasn't just another shooting. This was Inanda reminding South Africa who really controls the night. The operation unfolded in the early hours, when Inanda is most vulnerable, when families are asleep and gunmen feel bold. Police intelligence units had been tracking a group of heavily armed suspects believed to be responsible for a string of murders, attempted killings, and violent robberies across northern Durban. The target was clear. The danger was expected. When officers closed in on a property in the Bester area, they didn't knock long. According to the police, they announced their presence. Seconds later, gunfire erupted. What followed was not a chase. It was a confrontation. 5 suspects were fatally shot. 4 firearms were recovered at the scene. Police said the men had opened fire first. Another successful neutralization, another line added to a growing list of deadly encounters in Inanda. But for residents, the story didn't begin that morning, and it didn't end with the bodies. By the time daylight crept in, neighbors were already gathering behind police tape. No shouting, no crying, just a quiet observation. In Inanda, people learn early not to react. Reactions attract attention. Attention attracts consequences. This shootout wasn't isolated. It followed days of similar operations in the area, where additional suspects linked to shootings in Amaoti and Ezimbabwe were also killed. In less than 48 hours, 7 men were dead in police confrontations. The pattern was familiar. Intelligence tip-offs, heavily armed suspects, resistance, fatal outcomes. But the deeper question lingered. Why does Inanda produce so many of these moments? To answer that, you have to understand the environment. Inanda is not just a crime hotspot. It's a battlefield shaped by decades of poverty, broken systems, and unchecked gang power. Police don't patrol here, they invade. Criminals don't hide, they dominate. Every shootout is treated as a climax. But in Inanda, it's just another chapter. To understand the Inanda shooting, you have to understand the West Gang. They are not a myth. They are not exaggeration. They are young, armed, organized, and deeply rooted in the community. Many members are teenagers. Some haven't finished school. Others never started. They carry guns before they carry ID documents. The West Gang's rise wasn't sudden. It was gradual, violent, and calculated. They filled a vacuum left by unemployment, weak policing, and fear. They offered protection, then demanded loyalty. They committed robberies, hijackings, and murders with impunity. And when challenged, they responded with bullets. Community leaders who spoke out were threatened. Some were killed. Community policing forum members became targets. Residents learned the rules quickly. See nothing, say nothing, survive quietly. Their former leader, Mankobi Nzimande, was just 22 years old when police finally caught up with him. He was linked to dozens of cases and multiple murders. When he died in a shootout, many hoped the violence would slow. It didn't. Instead, power struggles followed. Younger, more reckless members fought for control. Guns circulated faster. Social media became a stage for intimidation. Videos of weapons, boasts about killings, open mockery of law enforcement. This is the world police walked into during the Inanda operation. When officers arrive here, they don't expect surrender. They expect resistance. And resistance in Inanda is lethal. But with every suspect killed, another question grows louder. Are these operations dismantling the system or merely trimming its branches? Because for every gang member shot dead, there are 10 more watching, learning, waiting. KwaZulu-Natal police leadership has defended the Inanda shootouts aggressively. Their message is simple. These men were dangerous, armed, and prepared to kill. Officers acted in self-defense. Communities were protected. And on paper, it makes sense. Inanda is consistently ranked among South Africa's most violent areas. Murder, attempted murder, rape, and firearm crimes dominate the statistics. Police officers sent here know the risks. Some have been ambushed, some have been shot. This is not routine policing, it's combat. But the frequency of fatal outcomes has sparked concern. Civil rights groups and opposition parties have begun asking hard questions. Why do so many operations end in death? Why are arrests so rare? And why is accountability so difficult to measure? Calls for police body cameras have grown louder, not to weaken officers, but to protect truth, to ensure that every shot fired can be explained, to draw a clear line between lawful force and excessive power. Meanwhile, residents remain caught in the middle. Some welcome the shootouts. To them, every dead gang member is one less threat. Others fear retaliation. They know violence doesn't disappear, it relocates. Vacant houses are increasing. Families are leaving. Those who stay sleep light and listen hard. Inanda has become a place where justice arrives with sirens and leaves with body bags, where peace is temporary and fear is permanent. And still, the shootings continue. When the last police vehicle leaves and the tape comes down, Inanda returns to its usual rhythm. Children walk to school past bullet marks. Mothers sweep blood-stained dust from doorways, and names of the dead fade into rumors. 5 suspects died in the latest shooting. But Inanda didn't change, because this isn't just a story about criminals and police. It's a story about a community trapped between survival and silence. The guns will go quiet, for now. But in Inanda, quiet doesn't mean peace. It just means the next chapter is loading.